Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to consecutive streaming day number, I think, 426. Wait, days since March 2nd. Yes, 426. Getting kind of close to the 500, everybody. We have a cheeky afternoon stream ahead of us where we watch some Flow TV games. Let's see what the ladder has to offer. We had another nice little update on W3Champions, and I see I'm tiny. Why am I so tiny? I cleaned my desk yesterday. Did something change? Ah, that's better. That's about it. That's better. Yeah, that's better. I cleaned too hard. I shrunk myself. How's it go? Ugh, that was a squeaky sound. Sorry about that. So, good morning. Well, morning. Up for 5 hours now, I think. Yep, 5 hours it is. Couple of meetings as our Dach Inferno finals are coming close. And ha! What a segue. Our Dach Inferno finals are coming close. And for our German audience out there, or basically for everyone who wants to support, we got merch. We got merch for the first time ever for our Dach Inferno. Shout out to the people at Being Esports who worked on this relentlessly and to put up this merch store. So Dach Inferno is our German league founded after the ESL said Warcraft is not worth supporting anymore. And we said, screw that, ESL! And we made our own German league. And since then, we had 2 amazing seasons. The third one is progressing and close-ish to a finish line with amazing finals coming up. But without... I mean, we do have an amazing sponsor in the Koalas. But of course, running a league is quite expensive. We got to pay the players. Ideally, we want to make a buck or two from that as well, right? Because we're not the pro bono companies, really. So here it is. merchandise for the Dach
Finally,
Inferno.
100. Tie for all you
Yo! Misto GN with the 100, dude. Holy shit. That's crazy. 98-month streak. Holy shit. How can you not get tired of us after all this time? Welcome to the 3 digits club, everybody. That's crazy. That's a crazy time. So what we got is 3 different designs, more or less. You can get our logo clean on a shirt, all of it in all different colors that you can think of. Looks a bit Attack on Titan-esque now, huh? Now that you see it that way. There we go. Beauty. It is a beauty. You can order a mug for your morning coffee or the evening coffee or maybe some hot wine. Whatever floats your boat. And you see we have, this is like the, what's it called? The unclean version of that thing. You can get a hoodie with a freaking back print. I'm so gonna order myself a hoodie. Love that cut. Looks cozy. Off I go. And the Infernal has arrived as well. This looks like a shirt that I could have worn in my early teens. In my emo core phase. It is unfitting for a green screen, but I think I'm the only person that's like in this conversation right now that's in front of a green screen. And then the broken kind of quote unquote Inferno logo on the shirt as well. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna order myself. I have to order myself. Exclamation mark Inferno merch. Needs a wolf howling at the moon. I had that shirt as well. So yeah, exclamation mark Inferno merch is the link. Mr. Shad! 3 freaking years, man. 3 freaking years. That's crazy. That's crazy. Are you creating a metal band called Inferno? That's our German league, Mr. Flowduke. Shad, I just read your DM. I'll forward it immediately. My designer is uploading some files, mostly for animations, and send me this to forward to you. There we go. Thank you, Shad. Done. Feels good. Merch done. Finals planning started. For the first time in forever, my desk is clean. That thing was a mess. Holy shit. Holy shit. I was basically broadcasting in between 4 piles of trash all around me. And now it's squeaky clean. Ah, that feels so good, dude. Should have done this quite some time ago. But, you know, there were tournaments. And then I ate, and then I slept, and then I played some Baldur's Gate, and then I fell asleep. Before and after pictures? No. It is quite cozy now. It's not presentable just yet. So, this is one of 2 streams today. Exclamation mark YouTube, exclamation mark Inferno merch. Boom. Basically, Asmongold. No. No. Not basically, not that bad, okay? Not that bad. Like for civilized, I was probably below presentable, but I wasn't caveman. No rats, no blood on the wall. Like, Also, no leftover food, just stuff. There was just so much stuff. Anyway. What class are you in Baldur's Gate? I am playing a... Well, my initial playthrough was a wizard. Evocation wizard. Basically, Gale, just... I didn't know that there's a Gale, so my TAF was an evocation wizard. My character now is a necromancer. Not too happy with that, to be honest. But I reskilled Will to a Hexblade, and whoo, Hexblade is fun. Hexblade is super fun. It's a bit annoying to always have that prepared after every long rest, but yeah. Wizard is fun, getting every spell from scrolls. Necros are cool too, lots of summons. I haven't gotten a single summon yet. I'm level 3. So that's a bit of a disappointment. I do have the Flaming Sphere, though. So that's the summon, I guess. And I have a Death Cleric with Spiritual Weapon. That's also a summon, I guess. Yeah, that entire theme is like Dark Necro Warlock playthrough. As well as a Hexblade. Shadowheart is the Death Cleric. I'm the thing. And then, of course, I'm going to get Minthara once I'm in Act 2. But we're not there yet. Not at all. Romancing Lizelle is fun. At least some romance in my life, eh? And of course, before you say, oh, aren't you an emo boy? Aren't you supposed to romance Shadowheart? Yes, I did that on the first playthrough. So, and then I turned into, you know what happens at the end? I chose that ending. And she just left me. Just because of a couple of tentacles. That was breaking my heart. Breaking my heart. But I heard that's also fixed by now. I played on patch 1, basically. But yeah, that's my free time in the evening hours. 1 or 2 hours of Baldur's Gate. It was really mean. But hey, almost everybody else had a good life then. Almost everybody else had a good life. So, in the world of Warcraft, we got a tiny little update to the W3Champions homepage, which is freaking damn amazing, I gotta say. So, if you want to look up some games on the Warcraft 3 homepage, you usually go to matches, and then you see all the ongoing games, right? But there's something cool here. You go to finished, and then there's this new thing on the right-hand side saying show heroes. And now you can watch every game that ever was, and you can see what hero there is. And then let's say you want to see every game that involves a tinker, and you can filter after every game that has a tinker. And then you can download the replays. And if you download replays from the homepage, they still work. Or you want to learn Dreadlord, you can also do that. That is freaking awesome. That's so awesome. I think this should be just standard and show always, but hey, that's just me. It's freaking cool. Of course, my standard will be this setting, only Pit Lord games. Lich Tinker, new meta. There's a lot of stuff happening here. Quite some people with the Pit Lord first also. I like. Oh, is Turin moving from Dreadlord first to Pit Lord first? See, this is the stuff you find out when you have this filter applied. Man, I love the momentum on W3Champions right now. There's a few quirks and some bugs here and there, but the progress this platform has made just this week alone is incredible. And the driving force behind that is a guy called Faro, I think. He's doing a freaking lot right now. Everybody knows Kovacs by now, I think, who's been carrying the burden of running the server for maybe 2.5 years now. And for a long time, he was like the only one, or one of the few ones who still contributed. And then there came a little bit of momentum when was, I think, in January, maybe a little earlier, when Grubby's moderator Ruigan guys joined. It's like, okay, there's people active again. Nice. I see. People are cooking up some stuff. And now we got another person called Magenta, also contributing a lot. But yeah, I think wherever I go and wherever I look, Faro is doing a hell of a lot. And Kovacs is still contributing so much time to this, but he's not the only one anymore. And that's really good and really healthy. So I love what I see when I have the privilege of being in the internal W3Champions Discord channels and stuff. I don't understand shit because it's like all coding and I don't know that. I know how hello world and that's about it. But so much activity. Freaking awesome. I personally want to cast some games today, of course. In the afternoon ladder, we'll see how good it is. Later tonight, we got a sponsored stream, everybody. And I am pretty hyped for that. Not because it's the sponsored stream, but it is a new game coming out that is based on a Warcraft 3 custom map. And we'll be playing that for you. It's gonna be so cool. I think at 9 p.m.-ish. Yeah, it's gonna be around 9 p.m. today. 3 hours, and then we're gonna play more on Saturday and Sunday and Monday. And then hopefully it's good. Pretty sure it is. Looked good from what we've seen. And I mentioned this yesterday already, but we have a new YouTube channel. Because for the majority of the existence of this channel, we just dumped every single game to the main channel. And that ruined our YouTube exposure. It was a disaster. Like, let's be honest. It was just a disaster. Nobody should run a YouTube channel like we have run this YouTube channel. We basically treated it as an archive less than a YouTube channel. And at some point, revenue got so bad and clicks got so bad that we had to change something because we were basically fighting against the algorithm instead of playing into the algorithm. And we had to reduce our output to 1 video a day. But that's not enough because we got so many games. So the answer to that is second channel. We got a second channel. It's called Back to Warcraft More. We got a couple of subs yesterday already, but I see that basically 86,000 of you are not subscribed just yet. And if you don't want to miss out, oopsie, on games or updates like the patch notes and the big visual upgrades to War 3 Champions, you should probably start following the Back to Warcraft More channel on youtube.com/@BackToWarcraftMore. Boom, 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 boom. For this to be a success. We kind of need 1,000 here to make this worth it. Out of Warcraft has to put some money into that as well. Subscribed. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Done. Nice, 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 nice. Good. Good, Chad. You're well behaving, Chad. Nicely done, Chad. So yeah, with that, we can at least upload 2 videos a day in action-packed times, maybe even more. And we never have to think like, oh, can we make a talking video about this or an announcement video about this? Would we ruin the exposure of the big match that we were supposed to upload on the main channel? Etc, 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 etc. It's just easy. We just bump it all on the second channel. So that's gonna be good. So, Warcraft. You know, there was a Grubby Streamers Invitational. And Tasteless made a video saying, after 100 hours of Warcraft 3, here are my honest thoughts on the game. And since Tasteless is quite a legend in the RTS sector, I am curious what he has to say. So,
in StarCraft,
we're gonna watch this together to start the day. Tasteless's thoughts on Warcraft 3.
1 and 2 commentator, and just like a fan of RTS, but always someone who felt kind of on the outside of Warcraft 3. I've always had a lot of respect for the game, but never really understood it. I mean, I knew that there were levels, I knew there was creeping, and I knew it was very micro intensive, but I thought you guys might be curious how I felt about the game.
I feel like quite a few people in the StarCraft sphere either think of an older version of Warcraft when the game was played a little bit differently, or have a wrong perception altogether.
And so I wanted to talk a little bit about it. So, quick background here. I'm going to have this video playing. This is on Grubby's channel, by the way. It's called Legendary. Is this the best game of the year? WC3-Grubby. So check it out. My background as an RTS player, I started playing Warcraft 2 and Command & Conquer around maybe 2nd or 3rd grade and was completely obsessed.
Same.
I played a ton of other RTS games that are maybe not worth mentioning. They were kind of one-offs. RTS games were pretty popular back then.
Dark
it was mostly
Reign.
point and click, as well as, like, when I say point and click, I mean point and click adventure games as well as RTS games. And then Brood War came out, and I was totally hooked. I played on LANs at some of my friends' house. There was like,
when I was younger, Brood War was too hard for me. I couldn't. I was very young though, but I couldn't beat it. It was so hard.
a small PC cafe in Kansas City I would go to sometimes, maybe like 4 or 5 times. But eventually we got internet, and then I discovered the joy of real multiplayer in RTS games. The only multiplayer I had really experienced before that was like playing my brother in a Nintendo game or a Sega Genesis game, or let's say going to an arcade and maybe playing somebody in a fighting game and experiencing how intimidating that was. And, you know, how, especially in an arcade, how important it was to try to do your best because you only had so many quarters before you had to go home. And what I loved about...
That's so sad, man. In Germany, we didn't have arcade halls. Or we don't have arcade halls still. I think it was kind of prohibited to enter when you're below 18. Because it was oftentimes in one venue with, like, gambling stuff. I never had the true experience of an arcade hall when I was younger.
Multiplayer games, and as an adult now, as a man, I really appreciate how punishing they can be. and how rewarding they can be. It's a humbling experience to play an RTS game. And, you know, I remember just having my whole reality shattered getting on Battle.net. I had this whole fantasy that I was a great player. It turns out I wasn't. And I had a lot of work I had to put in. And it's taught me a lot about my life and why, you know, games are valuable and important, despite a lot of people treating them like they're degenerate or a waste of time. That was my background in RTS. And I remember seeing Warcraft 3 get announced, and I was ready to switch over. I kind of thought, okay, this is the next iteration in what I guess I would call now my career. At the time, I thought as a, you know, a competitive player, an aspiring pro. The first day the game came out, my brother and me, we went down. I think it was called EB Games back then, but basically like a GameSpot or whatever you want to call it. We got the game, we brought it home. I didn't even play the campaign, just so you guys know how hardcore I was.
I still remember I got this game on our way to a vacation. And I got the game in my hands as for some reason on release day, we drove to an electronics store, bought me the game, and then we went on a vacation for 2 weeks. So I wasn't home for 2 weeks and I couldn't play this game for 2 weeks. Even though I had it in my hands. That was the worst vacation ever.
I was ready to just dive into it. I think like a lot of people that want to be competitive, especially like in a multiplayer game, you just want to dive in almost like you're going to get a head start from everybody. You know, honestly, maybe that was a mistake for me because I think I didn't give me the time to play the campaign, and the campaign in some ways sort of sets your expectations for what the game is.
Yeah. I would never jump into multiplayer if I have the option to play campaign first. Never. Even though I probably, for a lot of games, get the wrong perception of a game via campaign, but I have to get used to like the base mechanics and units and stuff.
And that is that it is a hybrid in a very special game that, you know, there was nothing like this that was made before, and there weren't really many games or maybe any games that were made like it after.
Nothing. No game is like Warcraft.
Culmination.
No game is like Warcraft. Some people will say, well, Spellforce is somewhat like Warcraft. It's not the same. It is not the same. Nobody has this mix of RPG and RTS that Warcraft had. And no game even tried. I mean, Year of Rain or what it was, but it was supposed to be a Warcraft clone. I mean, they ripped off Warcraft like in an insane way, and it failed. So nobody even tried because the game is so perfect.
Combination at the time of all. Did I play the StarCraft 1 campaign, chat? Yes, I did. But I didn't have internet back then. You got to remember, this was like, I got internet like a few months after StarCraft 1 came out, and then it was like all multiplayer, right? Warcraft 3 really was
the most
special game that Blizzard's ever made, in that they took all their RTS knowledge. And remember that while they were making Warcraft 2 and StarCraft, they were also making Diablo. And now that I've, you know, had the fortune of being able to meet the people at Blizzard, I realized they're really into Dungeons and Dragons and board games and card games. So Warcraft 3 in a lot of ways was kind of this merger of all of their games put together in one. RPGs and RTSs. And so,
because everybody loves like a Tanya in Command and Conquer, right? Everybody loves the Kerrigan and Raynor characters in StarCraft. So why not turn that up to 11 and make it even better? It's such a genius concept. I cannot understand why nobody else tried this after Warcraft. Cannot.
These are the misconceptions I had when I came into Warcraft 3. And also, these are the misconceptions that a lot of people, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, and other RTS games have about Warcraft 3, in case you're like a real fan of the game. And, you know, I feel like Warcraft 3 has gotten a bad rap.
Yeah.
And I especially appreciate that after training for this big tournament. So, the misconceptions, A, that the game is slow.
Yep.
If you're not watching from first-person perspective like we're looking at in this game, the game can look slow, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like there's that many units on the board. It at times seems like they're both playing against armies of computers, which they are. But when you actually sit down and play a game, you have to be going crazy fast. Every move on the map counts. And so from a StarCraft perspective, I just thought, Brood War was a faster game, a more intense game, and I didn't really appreciate that. Number 2 misconception is that the engine is...
I think that is right, especially from the outside perspective. And from the outside perspective also, a lot of things look so simple when you look at them from the outside, while when you execute them, it's really freaking hard. You don't even think about it. Like, because we have so few units, every unit matters, and everything in general matters. What you have, where you are, what you're doing. So in StarCraft, oftentimes, parts of your army are just defending, right? Because you, for example, don't have a town portal. So obviously, parts of your army have to be defenders, so you're not getting overrun. In Warcraft, that's not the case. Every unit has a purpose at the very time, at that very place. That's something beautiful about it. Nem, thank you for the 55. Yeah, something very, very beautiful. So, yeah, so you don't have that much multi-screen action, but that makes the one screen where you're at 3 times as important.
Weird and bad. And it is literally the opposite of that. The engine is, you can play so perfectly.
Sorry, I kind of ruined
is
that statement.
More intense game, and I didn't really appreciate that. Number 2 misconception is that the engine is weird and bad. And it is literally the opposite of that. The engine is, you can play so perfectly and so smoothly. If you are good, you can like bend time and space in the game. It's crazy. One of the problems that comes with RTS games is they all have different engines. StarCraft 2, in fact, has even been criticized for maybe being too smooth. Units are too slippery. Things move too fast and in unison. But I think one of the mistakes that happens is somebody comes from one RTS engine and enters another one, and immediately it's just like putting on, a different pair of clothes that you think doesn't fit, when it's actually just the whole cut is different, the look is different. And so even Brood War has this same challenge. A lot of people think Brood War is just a buggy game. Brood War is actually, when you're good at it, you can work your way through the bugs pretty easily, and you can actually exploit a lot of micro because of the way the units at times kind of stick on each other. So I just wanted to point that out. It's actually a really good engine. It's really smooth. It takes some time to get used to, but it's really well made, and you can see why.
Yeah, it's like, obviously playing this game for 20 years, it's so natural to move in Warcraft 3. But every time I play another RTS, whether that's an old one like my Command & Conquer playthroughs recently, or some of the new ones, it's just different. Is it like, it's not that, it might be more comfortable with some quality of life features that we are missing, but it's just so natural. And units move so nice, and it's not in unison like all the time. Like, not everything is synchronized, but there's some life to it. There's a uniqueness to it, to every unit also.
Why it was the foundation for MOBAs, which comes in later on. I'll talk about that a little bit more. Third concept I thought that was really misunderstood about the game from a StarCraft player's perspective is that there's no macro. And I think it's forgivable for StarCraft players to perceive the game that way, because in StarCraft, you're just making a lot of stuff. Like, we're looking at a game right now with 2 great players. There's only, as far as we can tell on the minimap, 1 base for each side, right? So from a StarCraft player's perspective, in a game where you're trying to consume the whole map, surround each other, counterattack into maybe their 3rd or 4th base, maps where you're maybe dropping in a bunch of different locations, and there could be several battles happening at once, which, by the way, does happen in Warcraft 3. I think from that perspective of macro, developing RTS like StarCraft 1, like StarCraft 2, like Age of Empires in a lot of ways, Warcraft 3 just looks like a smaller, simpler game. So I wanted to point out all 3 of those ideas that are, in fact, not true when you start to learn it.
I very much agree. There's also, like, yeah, it's not too much economy it is very simple when it comes to economy. There's gold lumber. You have both available at every base. You go usually 1 to 2 bases. Very, 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 very rarely more. A little bit map dependent, but whatever. So that's just the bases, though. But we have creep routes and creep camps. So parts of your resources are items. And the gold you get there. And parts of your resources is experience. And that's 2 layers. 2 layers to macro. That's in no other game. You don't have to level up in StarCraft. You don't have to hit a certain level at a certain time and ideally have that perfect item at the 4-minute 50 mark so you can go for the burrows of the orc, right? Doesn't happen. There's other timings, for sure. Upgrades, army, tech, etc. But because creep routes are so important, and of course it's PvE, right? Like, there might be another misconception that like PvE stuff isn't that important, but then there's also, you have to learn how to manipulate the creeps and run around the creeps perfectly. That's another, like you don't only face your opponent, you're also facing the environment. If you constantly run into these murlocs that are on display, you get poisoned on every single unit. You don't want that. On other camps, you might be running into ant snare that might result in a kill. You have to avoid that. It's stuff you have to know. There's another layer. And that is, like, from the outside, it's just a bunch of neutrals, dude. Whatever. No, there's way more to it. And then you have to think about the order. And then you have to think, oh, if I go there, I can get a second base. But if I go there directly, can I even hold this? Do I have a high enough level if my opponent pushes me? Or do I have to go for this camp, this camp, this camp? So then I'm level 3. I'm a little bit later with my second base, but I have this new summon that can help me out, hold against the opponent, etc. It's not that easy just because it looks easy.
But could keep a player who's a hardcore StarCraft player away. Now, there's also some issues, I think, that come with the game that don't make the game bad, but they are undeniable obstacles that stand in the way to appreciating Warcraft 3. And by the way, there are obstacles that stand in the way to appreciating a lot of different games. If you look at fighting games, I mean, they're extremely punishing. It's hard to learn combos. That's very intimidating. It drives a lot of people away. Games like Counter-Strike, Valorant, Dota, League of Legends, because they're inherently team games, sometimes you have bad teammates. That's another inherent obstacle.
Ooh.
Doesn't mean the game's not worth playing, but you have to be ready to deal with that or work your way around that. And RTS games in general, I mean, you have to basically know all the units. You gotta, understand the theme of the game. A lot of times appreciating the map in a way can be, barriers to new players getting into it. But I think these are a couple obstacles in the game that are fair and have kept a lot of players out. The first one, and this is a problem in a lot of RTS games, but I think it's more true in Warcraft 3, and it does go away, by the way, before we have backlash with me saying this. I think the art style, if you don't know Warcraft 3 very well, it's a little bit confusing. Like, even in this shot right now, there's a lot of green. The grass is green. The hit point bars are green. The auras on the ground are green or yellow. Contrast is extremely important, and we're seeing this as a challenge in even these newer RTS games that are coming out. Is visual clarity is key.
Yep.
I've casted StarCraft 2 more than any game in my career. Maybe I'll never catch up to another game. Maybe there'll be no other game that will catch up to StarCraft 2 in my life. I think there are problems with StarCraft 2 and visual clarity. There's sometimes too much purple and gray and brown on certain maps. I think it has a little bit more visual clarity than Warcraft 3.
I think this is a tiny bit unfair. Like, if you observe a StarCraft game, it's always red and blue. In this case, yeah, green is blending in with the grass because the grass is also green, not only on the other side, but on every side. But if this green would be blue, then automatically you have a lot more clarity. And I say that while we stand in the lake, and I realize how stupid that is. But hey, then pick yellow, right? You get the argument. Green is not that great from a visual perspective. That's for sure. But yeah, sometimes, especially with like Shaman, where the major color is white. But I think it's like mostly very, very well done in Warcraft 3.
But I do think that's worth pointing out. There's also an issue with, I think, the pacing of the fights if you come from a StarCraft background. You see a lot of things being hit and running away and kind of crashing into each other, and it could be misleading. I think an advantage that StarCraft has inherently over a game like Warcraft 3 is that the battles are so fast, it's really clear who won. StarCraft 2 is the fastest RTS game. Warcraft 3, and when I say slow, I don't mean the game is slow, but I mean the fights take longer. StarCraft 1 seems to be a little bit of like the Goldilocks pacing in fights, and that the fights are certainly slower, and you could do more in them than StarCraft 2. But they're fast enough that I think people can digest them, and I think that's why it was a huge successful spectator sport in Korea. Although Warcraft 3 was massive and still is massive in China. Number 2.
Do I agree with that or not? The question of who won a fight is a bit more confusing in Warcraft as well, because we have levels and items. And like heroes, levels, and items. So in StarCraft, of course you have different unit values, but in general you get a sense of who has the better army at the start of the fight. And at the end, the player with more units left won the fight. Also, they don't have a town portal, so if you engage in a fight, you are in that fight most of the time. In Warcraft, there's a lot of questions. Of course, what's left? So, one side can have only the heroes remaining but lost all the army. On the other side, you lost all heroes but you kept all your army. What's better? Then there comes experience in. With the heroes being alive, did you get that level advantage that will carry you? Or not? Or can you use your remaining army to maybe get to the tavern because you have a lot of gold and you can get the heroes back, and then it's not really a problem. And then also, how many items were used? Like, maybe you didn't lose a unit, but you lost 3 heal scrolls, a big mana potion, 3 invul potions, and then that's also 1200 gold value. And the town portal then, of course. That is... I agree that's not that easy. But it's not easy because the game's so different. And yeah, also town portals exist. And it's hard to get out from a fight. Oftentimes, I, as an uneducated StarCraft observer, feel like games are pretty snowbally. Especially in the very, very, very beginning of StarCraft. Now less so. Way less so. But in the beginning, you won one fight and you won. But it's also like a nature of a new RTS, I think. I like this back and forth of Warcraft. I like that dynamics can change within a fight. I like the multiple layers to this. The thing is, you said this a few streams ago, it's more about who can stay alive to win the final battle. Because it doesn't matter how big of an army you have if you can't stop your opponent to get a better army. The buildings in Warcraft also have a purpose and can fight, not just units. Yeah, I think that can apply similarly in StarCraft. Like, if you survive a fight while waiting for your next tech, then you outlasted your opponent. Or if you're fighting so your next base can stay alive and then you can outmass your opponent. That's like a classic trope in RTS, I'd say. That's due to heroes. If Warcraft had no heroes, fights would also be obvious. Yeah, that's pretty much my point. That's pretty much my point. And I don't like these super fast fights. Like you have one big ball of units and another big ball of units and the balls clash and then at the end there's one lower ball of units. In Warcraft we have this tug of war, right? Sometimes fights can last 5 minutes. And that's awesome. We love it. There's probably people who don't. But they got no taste and we all know it.
On challenges for Warcraft 3, I think the upkeep system, while being very interesting in the game, completely throws people off.
Really?
It's a very difficult concept to understand.
Really?
I'm not saying it shouldn't be in the game. I think it actually makes the game really interesting, and it's something worth celebrating, and it's something we don't really see in other RTS games.
Yes. But
that is a really tough thing to throw into a game where you're trying to grow and expand and dominate the map. You're trying to creep. It's a confusing thing because also just the math of income isn't always obvious, right? Like, I'm so glad I had Tara coaching me because he could explain to me, all right, well, we're going to lock in at this moment. When we get 1,000 gold, we're going to dump it all into the rest of our units. We're going to do a timing push, let's say. But that's hard to just pick up on, right? Like, in my head, I'm thinking, do I want to stay on low upkeep forever? Do I want to maybe just kind of be on low upkeep for a while and then, you know, try to ride that out? You know, it's just not obvious. So I think that's an inherent challenge. I think it's one of the things that makes Warcraft 3 a beautiful game. But in a game where you already had creeps, you already had items, and you have like units with so many different abilities, some can be auto-casted, others have to be manually done. It is a lot. And then
I could talk about upkeep for a long time. I think the concept isn't too difficult to understand. I think people overestimate upkeep in one-on-one for sure. Because I think as a new player, up until like, I don't know, 1600 MMR, 1700 MMR, no upkeep or low upkeep don't matter. High upkeep is very taxing, but that's something you don't often do. I think up to the highest level, like 10-15% of the ladder, you don't have to think about upkeep at all. Just go, 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 go. It's an advanced mechanic. It's not something that a new player automatically has to understand. Because for a new player, it's way more important to do something on the map, to not forget production. And maybe in that way, it's an entry barrier. As people are not incentivized to produce all the time. The math is rather simple, but it's never displayed anywhere really, except the late game score screen that nobody really checks. So nobody really knows how much gold you lose. Like, it's not super clear. It's just intuitive. And we have a chart for that, right? So it's not that bad. It's not that much in a one-on-one. In other game modes, way different talk. But the game tells you that it's very important. And the game doesn't tell you about anything else that it's really, really important. You produce your stuff. And then you break upkeep. And you get this message. Boom. It even has the text up top, right? Low upkeep. High upkeep. Sound plays. The game tells you like, uh-oh, should you be doing that? And of course, as a new player, you think, oh, what did I do? Was that really the right thing to do? The game tells me something, gives me a notification, huh? You don't get this boom level 3, boom tier 2, I get that. It's only with Upkeep. So I think the implementation of Upkeep isn't perfect, and the storytelling or the notification isn't perfect, but I think Upkeep is one of the most genius inventions in RTS, in all of RTS. So a lot of people will say, well, I read an interview from a Warcraft 3 developer back in the day, and they wanted to decentivize people from building big armies, so they put the upkeep mechanic in because the machines weren't ready. It was a technical thing. I don't believe that for a second. And then people try to argue against Upkeep with that one quote. Upkeep is the single best comeback mechanic in any RTS, I think. You can be mega greedy. You can be smart and invest into items instead of a bigger army. If you're super far ahead after a fight, you still have a penalty, a smaller penalty, but there's a penalty. It's brilliant. It is freaking brilliant. And if you want to have a high army, you have to pay for that army. Like in real life. I love it. I love Upkeep so much. I think every RTS should have Upkeep. It's such a good mechanic. As long as it's not overdone, right? As long as it's not taken, like you build 2 more units and it takes 50% of your income or something. 100% agree. Upkeep is a superb mechanic. There we go, man. There we go. Yeah, it's awesome. There's a couple of misconceptions about Warcraft as a whole. One is this: Upkeep wasn't supposed to be in the game, but they implemented it to prevent bigger armies. If you want to prevent bigger armies, like, set the food cap lower. That's the reason. Like, make it 80 instead of 100, or keep it at 100, but make the units cost more. That's how you prevent bigger armies. Also, if that's the reason that you don't want to be too heavy on people's machines, then why do 1-on-1, 2-on-2, and 4-on-4 have the same upkeep and food cap mechanic? That makes no sense to me at all. It is a brilliant comeback mechanic, and it's so smart. And more RTS should do it.
And I think the third problem, and again, it is both a benefit and a curse, and this kind of what I was just talking about earlier, I think segues into this point, is decision chaos. You're just having to make more decisions in a Warcraft 3 game, which I think makes for more interesting games. But I think it's also harder to kind of step into as a player.
Agree.
Is like any game that's going to have creeps, it's like, well, do I want to creep? Do I want to expand? What items do I need? What hero do I need? And so the game is set with a very challenging board to start out on. I wasn't even sure when when Grubby invited me to this invitational if I was going to be able to do it. I'm working out my marriage visa, which I think I'm going to be getting in a week or two here. Because I just married my Korean girlfriend, now wife. So I was taking care of like a ton of paperwork, and just, it was like a lot. It was like very overwhelming, a little bit stressful going in and out of the immigration office. And then I'm sure some of you guys saw, I'm actually, I just launched a StarCraft 2 tournament because StarCraft 2 is in a terrible spot, called the RSL. We have a Patreon for that, by the way, patreon.com/revivesc2.
Very cool.
And so I'm basically working with a production company to build out a studio here in Seoul.
That's crazy.
So we can do live matches, and that's been exciting. If you want to join that, feel free. It would mean a lot to me. But so I had these 2 big things going on, and then Grubby invited me to this tournament, and I was kind of like, oh man, I don't know if I have time for this. I'm not even going to be streaming as much as I normally would. My wife convinced me to do it, and I thought, yeah, you're right. And I was kind of waiting for an excuse to learn Warcraft 3. I've been sort of waiting for this my whole life. When I stopped playing a few months after the game came out and went back to Brood War when I was a kid, I was like maybe a sophomore in high school. I stopped playing because I didn't understand the beauty of the game. And then I would go to this website called Gosu Gamers. In my computer classes, when I was in high school, we had like internet in our classes, and I would take some coding classes. But really, all I was doing was watching esports news online.
Yep.
I was impressed to see that Warcraft 3 had a huge following. A lot of people were playing it, and I kind of thought, man, this is just a crazy. I thought everybody was going to stick with StarCraft 1, but people instead also were playing Warcraft 3, and people are still playing Warcraft 3 to this day.
I don't feel like many StarCraft players transitioned though, right? Not too many. A couple for sure. But it's kind of... It's not too common that you hear, oh yeah, I played Brood War before and then I switched to Warcraft. It's just so different. I feel like Warcraft 3 attracted a lot of people that weren't diehard Brood Warriors, and made them Warcraft diehards. But it's not like they stole a lot of audience from Brood War.
So,
and that's great, by the way. That is great. Different flavors to a different audience.
Grubby invited me to this big tournament. I'm really honored to play in it. And honestly, I think I'll be playing Warcraft 3 off and on for the rest of my life because of it.
Cool.
If you haven't tried it, I would recommend it. The community guides online are great. The people in stream chat are good. I do think the Warcraft community occasionally talks way too much in shorthand when trying to help you, by the way. Where I'm like, I don't know all these abbreviations. You gotta speak to me like I'm a child right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we do that. We do that for sure. For sure. We take a lot of things for granted as knowledge. And if we explain something, I am 1000% included in this, by the way. If we explain something, we have to start at very, very, very basics. I tried to do that more in casts, but now I kind of slip back again. I should do that more again. Yeah, for sure. This is why Grubby's so good, by the way. That's why Grubby is so good. He doesn't have a problem explaining things for the 100 millionth time. Well, I think, I mentioned this so often already, I don't have to explain it again. But there's always new people. And experienced people are not getting thrown off by that. They're like nodding to it. Like, yeah, nice. He's explaining something. And I knew this already. I feel smart now. And the new player is like, oh, I understood that. Nice, now I learned something. I should definitely do this more and not take knowledge for granted. But since we had no... Like, there was a long time where we didn't have a new influx of people. So I thought a lot of information that you can portray is redundant then. It's tough, man. It's tough to not fall into this mindset of, everybody knows this anyway. So for example, in my cast, I say obviously a lot. Because to me, it's obvious. To the majority of our channel, it's obvious. Like, there's a footman army. He's fighting headhunters. Obviously, he wants to defend. For new player, it's not obvious. Why is defend? Why is that ability now good against headhunters? Should explain that in a little side sentence. That's enough.
But yeah, it's a good game, and you know, over the past maybe 2 or 3 years, I've started to appreciate a lot more RTS games. I think what happens when you really get into one RTS.
Good point. It's a delicate balance. If you don't want to talk about basics if 90% of your stream already knows all this info. Yeah, but that is one point. But the 90% don't mind if it is repeated. They won't applaud you for it. It's like, oh my god, that was a brilliant explanation of why piercing damage is good versus unarmored armor type. But the 90% don't care when it's explained again. And the 10% that don't know, they appreciate that a lot. So if you can make a tiny effort of one sentence or half a sentence, you know, it's so easy, then why not do it to help the 10%? It's like, there's similar things, and I really hope this is not becoming a political thing now, but when I start my stream, I oftentimes say, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody outside and in between. It doesn't hurt anybody to greet anyone who doesn't identify as lady or gentleman. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt me to extend that sentence. It doesn't hurt you when you hear it, but the people, and it's not 10% for sure, but these people appreciate that. So if you can easily improve conditions for a subset of the audience, why not do it? It doesn't cost me anything. Stuff like that. That's just an example. That was the first example that came to mind.
Games, you go to the next one and you just see how it's different, and you think, I'm gonna have to unlearn all the stuff I already knew, or I'm so used to expanding in a game like StarCraft. Why would I go to Warcraft 3? Or if you're from Warcraft 3, you might think, I'm so used to creeping and microing big fights. Why would I want to go, play Hungry Hippos where I try to gobble up?
Oh, that is a very interesting discussion in chat now. I mean, I can't really talk about Warcraft that much because I haven't really followed for a long time, but when I was really into Dota, sometimes over-explaining everything during cast was becoming a bit repetitive, but reminds me then how super helpful it is for sure. I agree. And I have to think about it. Like, I would say, this is something I can't decide for myself. So, for example, one could teach a lot of basics in the beginning of a tournament, but the further the tournament progresses, you have taught these basics already, and then you could tune it down a little bit, and for the final stages, you go more into an entertaining style and like more tailored towards the remaining players that are, for example, in the final four. But then, counter argument, only the diehards who know everything are watching the group stages, and the general audience are watching the grand final and the semi-final. So should you be more explanatory in later stages of a tournament, but then it could actually take away the enjoyment for the diehards. That's an interesting balance that I don't have the blueprint for. I would basically benefit from basic information during Warcraft cast for sure. While I was more on there, I already know all this crowd doing Dota events. Yeah. It's like finding a balance, I think. And it's also in a game you can find the balance. In the early game, you can break down the story of players, you can break down the story of a matchup. There you can explain stuff. In the middle of a fight or in super tense moments, you probably shouldn't. But after a fight is settled or during a creeping phase, you can explain a lot again. Yeah, it's all about balance and the time and the place. For everything, there's a balance, and for everything, there's a time and a place. Just have to make it work. I think the possibilities that there are casuals only tuning in for later stages of a given tournament as if it was the season championship of an actual sport is unlikely. Fraser, the clicks on YouTube videos that have grand final in the title are like 6 to 7 times higher than any other video. So, of course, grand finals are viewed by a lot more people. because it's the most important game, right? If you only watch one Warcraft game a week, you're probably going for the grand final.
The whole map like a game in StarCraft, right? But it's definitely worth it. I also wanted to point out, like, just kind of going big picture here with Warcraft, it is probably, while being maybe the most special game that Blizzard made, because it had such a huge impact and has in some ways been neglected shortly after its birth by Blizzard. Let's remember that the game came out and almost immediately Dota came out, and Blizzard wasn't paying attention to that. I think Warcraft 3 came out, and then World of Warcraft came in after that, and that became the huge cash cow, and Blizzard basically neglected the game.
Yeah.
Despite it being so important and so huge. And Blizzard, look, we're almost in the wrong timeline, because if Blizzard had been paying attention, they would have been running Dota, and League, Riot Games wouldn't exist, so they wouldn't have that competitor. And at the same time, Dota 2 wouldn't exist. Right, and so
That's
they would have had
crazy,
the
right?
MOBA market, and the MOBA market's massive, so it's a big
But
misstep.
to not go too far from that argument, because Blizzard abandoned the game in like 2006 or something, a lot of people have that misconception about the game now. Because 2 years after Blizzard abandoned the game came the most popular time of Warcraft 3 esports in like 2007, 2008. And so the game was in one of the worst states when most people were watching, and then didn't really pick up on the game while it was being patched again. Then, of course, they got the Reforged disaster. That got a lot of attention, but for other reasons. So the entire journey that we've been through from 2000... When did they start patching again? 2018? 2017? To now, 2025, they all missed. They missed the big Warcraft patch where heroes like the Alchemist got huge treatment, and all the units and heroes that weren't used for 15 years got buffed, and that Undeads can now expand all of a sudden, and that human can play one base again, and that you have different openings, and it's not always the same hero composition and the same unit composition, always the same timings as it was in like 208. They all missed that. But we know it. And we know how good the players became, and how everything changed basically about this game. And so there's still the misconception from... My point is, there's still a lot of misconception from the state of the game that was way worse than it is now, and that is still repeated to the scene, or to comments about this game today on forums, that's now been countered by stuff like the Grubby Invitational and the Tyler audience, etc., etc., etc. That was my point, basically.
By Blizzard. It's also evidence, which is, I think this is obvious now, but back in the day, this was revolutionary, is that RPG elements can bleed into almost any game and make them better. I mean, Elden Ring and the Souls-like games are great because they took challenging, action elements and exploratory elements, but really built in great hardcore RPG features. Warcraft 3 did that with an RTS, and I think if they had marketed that maybe a little bit better, it would have been better received. But it is no doubt like a really special game. It's really important in gaming history. So I want to thank everybody that came by my chat to help me. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're always welcome to come by my stream. It's Tasteless TV on Twitch. I'll be playing off and on when I have time. There are some new RTS games coming out, like Tempest Rising just dropped, so I do want to check that out. But, there's a lot of great RTSs out there. Warcraft 3 is certainly one of them. It is a challenge to learn, but it's also very rewarding. And the things that I thought were going to be kind of dull, like creeping and doing that, are actually really exhilarating. You just got to start to play people that are going to be challenging, you know, and then you'll start to get that same rush you get. And it's also at the same time a very, while it's similar to a lot of other RTS games, it's a very different and fun experience as well. So those are my final thoughts. I think Warcraft 3 is an excellent game. It's worth checking out. Special thanks to Grubby for inviting me to his invitational. You can find my games of that on his channel, as well as me casting with him. I did get to cast some of the games there as well, especially, what did I cast? The Viper versus Sing Sing. That was a lot of fun. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about Warcraft 3 or this video.
It's the best game ever. It is the best game ever. I think it's a very fair video here. You wouldn't expect from someone, I mean, Tasteless is obviously a great guy from what I know. He got a good mind for RTS, but it's easy for someone who spent 25 years in StarCraft to be a StarCraft elitist, especially when your brand is a big part of StarCraft in general. Unfortunately, a lot of StarCraft fans are elitist, but I don't think that goes for content creators at all. So it's good that it gets the appreciation it gets. And the perception of Warcraft is swinging a little bit these days. Misconceptions are countered, and more people are getting exposed to the brilliant state that the game is in right now. On certain levels. When it comes to gameplay, at least. And strategy and stuff like that. Variety, especially. And it's super cool that this tribalism that we had for a long time in RTS is getting weaker and weaker. I see a lot of Warcraft people in StarCraft chats. I see a lot of StarCraft people in Warcraft chats. I talked to a lot of Age of Empires people at the event that I was at here in Hamburg, and they appreciate the game. A lot of Warcraft fans are also watching Age of Empires because it's a whole different game compared to StarCraft and Warcraft. I see a lot of people talk about Tempest Rising when I'm on, because I played a little bit of Command and Conquer as well. I went a little Command and Conquer viral on the Reddit, and they were super nice. So I feel like whatever happened the past couple of years, like we all know, like not only is our game a niche and a niche and a niche and a niche, but RTS in general is a niche and a niche and a niche and a niche. And we should just be RTSers with our very own special flavor that we like the most. And that's cool. So that's my takeaway from it. Let's watch some Warcraft, everybody. I got a W3Champions game, and that is Francis versus Biko. I feel like this has happened. Today already a couple of times. So let's check it out. Love Francis, love Biko. Both are playing pretty different from what we usually see. Ah, finally we did a reaction again. I love it. Love reaction, especially from nice homies as Tasteless is. All right, W3Champions ladder, everybody. This is pretty much the top of the ladder, like top 25, I think, so far. Francis, our current leader in the Dach Inferno. We got Dach Inferno merch, by the way. Exclamation mark Inferno merch. The more support we get, the more likely a next season is. Gotta go to the supermarket, but I'm not really motivated at all. Hey, you can get snacks, dude. Casting a game is a reaction as well. Hell yeah. That's all I do. That's all I do. So, we got Undead versus Orc. usually... No, I don't know where this matchup stands on this patch. It feels like it's still a lot of Wyvern and not too much has changed. But with both of these players, man, this could be anything really. Francis likes his headhunters. I have rarely seen him with Wyvern, I think. Going faster as most people do now again. Blade Master is also still very playable. On the Undead side, we almost always get DK and Ghouls. We've seen some Dreadlords recently. You could also attempt Cryptlord plus expansion on certain maps. But yeah, we see it. Francis, unlike any Asian orc who just rushes tier 2 without a barracks, is going for a barracks, as he's still of the opinion with good execution and maybe some changes that the patch brought, I don't know, I can still go headhunters. While the general perception is on the highest tournament level that DK, Ghouls, Lich and Dark Ranger hard counter headhunters so hard that you don't even have to try. And then instead of going barracks and investing your resources into headhunters, they go straight into Wyvern as fast as they can and try to buy that time with a harassing hero while sacrificing creep speed.
A player's forces are under attack.
Mr. Disengage, I welcome you. Is there anything cool on the release radar today? I heard there's a new Home is Where song, which is one of the greatest bands in the world. Oh, almost getting the last hit here. Big damage on the DK. Just looked at that. No, there isn't. Aye. But there is a new Home is Where, I'm sure, song. And the new turnstile that I still didn't listen to. But I still didn't listen to the new Coheed and Cambria album, and that's like 4 weeks out or so. I'm so falling behind. Francis with an excellent greedy creep here. Wow, he just invested his wolves to get the big healing and a big chunk of XP. He really likes to do that. IMO, Francis right now. Top 6 orcs in the world. Maybe top 5. It's really good. It's really good. So, while Francis was creeping his ass off in the middle of the map, Biku comes in for the harass and only gets the scraps. Offensive coils can do a lot here. Damage of a coil on level 1 is 70 against heroes. So this is scary! He was at exactly 69. Oh, he got the perfect damage roll off of that right click. Nicely done, Biko. Very well done. It's not too intuitive, right? To run into an enemy base, throw that nuke. But that hurt. 1 minute on the bench. Shadowhunter can creep. He saved the potion. True. That's interesting that he didn't use potion or TP. We are going Wyvern now. So a truly unique build by Francis. Maybe it's a Hammerfall build. To go for the 2 laps immediately and then go into Wyvern. And Biko, he has to think about how to counter these Wyvern, because at the moment he doesn't have anti-air, but he's punishing the headhunters hard still. With the ghoul rotation. Now he runs into Wyvern and Hex without the item that could dispel that Hex, the Wand of Negation. as he wasn't home for a long time. Is the ladder game? Yes, two of the top ladder players on War3Champions.
A player's forces are under attack.
And two of my favorite players to watch as well. So we're getting Fiends against this. Fiends have been mixed in more into the meta after Gargoyles dominated it for a long time. Ooh, that Shadow Hunter also squishy. Coil, Nova, action. There's another Nova with the Shadow Hunter's name on it. But maybe the Lich dies first. There's no Hex anymore though. Pico, use Nova! Use Nova! Oy! Okay, used it now. Potion transferred to the Shadow Hunter. That kept him healthy. And with Skull of the Beast, of course, take damage. Dude, Francis's hero focus is unique in the world, I think. Very much so. It's so good. He always gets the heroes. It's really impressive.
A player's forces are under
So we get the
attack.
Lich back. We have Web up. But only 2 Fiends versus 4 Wyvern. That is not ideal. And the double level 3. Crazy how this Lich got 0 XP. Wyvern, a lot of people would like to gaslight you that Wyvern aren't a good unit. On tier 2, they aren't that great. On tier 3, they become insanely good with the upgrade called Envenomed Spears. And now we'll see. Okay, we whip 1 Wyvern. The others are perfectly positioned on the left-hand side. And against Wolves and Heroes and Hex, Fiends are disappearing so fast that there's free reign in the air of these Wyvern. And they pick up unit after unit after unit. And only Coil Nova can do something about it. But thankfully for Biko, he had the mana that he was able to face these Wyvern. And then maybe a third hero could do something. DK carries an orb that's usually on the Lich, so he can attack air units as well. But the Ghoul timing is completely gone. I don't know if Biko was even willing to go for a Ghoul timing, because there's no Frenzy upgrade. That makes them a lot faster and it lets them attack faster. Fire Lord. Now that's unique. That is not something you see every day. Usually it's an alchemist to throw an acid bomb on Wyvern. That's a lot of damage over time and also armor mitigation. Huh. Interesting. There is no Dispel on Francis. And the Wyvern numbers are still low after that fight. So we'll see where this goes. The web has been applied again. That's the last heal wave. Very small supply numbers on both sides. That shouldn't really favor Francis, to be honest. Usually. And we see it here, like web after web. He never got the critical mass of Wyvern. The lava spawns actually splitting is fascinating. Didn't expect that. But yeah, again, no Dispel on front. No Lightning Orb as well that could provide Dispel. And another nuke and another Fastia kill. Yeah, maybe he invested a bit too much into the mid-game creeping and then lost the hero twice. And Biko with some cool adaptation. It's easy to start doubting yourself after that fight on the left-hand side where your Fiend got trashed and then fall back to focus on your levels. That time, Francis would have probably used to get a bigger Wyvern army, but with the help of the Firelord and the Lava Spawns, he still had an answer to the Wyvern, and they were in low numbers. It was really good. Shout out to Biko's Firelord. And now the levels are getting a bit out of control with 4.5, close to 3. Incinerate online as well. Could have skilled Soulburn against the Shadow Hunter, I'd say. Firelord's such a nice hero. Man, he was a meme for so long. And then he became such a great first hero and also such a great supporting hero. The Firelord changes are some of Blizzard's best work in the past couple of weeks. Years. GG. GG. Well done, Biko. Didn't expect that at all. Getting a little hot in here. I saw chat was also talking about it. How it's so hot outside. It's also hot inside, even though I'm in the basement here, where it should be cool. But it isn't. Earlier today, I made a Reddit thread, and I'm quite interested in the responses. Shout out Reddit. Some pearls there in these discussions. I asked the question, how's your experience with Pella Rifle after the hotfix change? Tuesday's patch nerfed Siphon mana by a lot. I'm curious what the community thinks about it now, both from a Pally Rifle players and players that are playing against it. Still works because the strat is not busted. Complaining players are just stupid. Top comment with 10 upvotes. Nice. Even this change low-key doesn't do that much, same as all the previous Pally Rifle changes, for this very simple reason. Pally Rifle beats you in any fight. It beats you before any nerf, it beats you after these nerfs. Maybe they went from trading 2.5 to 1 favorably to 2 to 1 favorably, but they still trade so favorably it doesn't matter that much. It does help builds that are meant to fight the Pally Rifle straight up and go toe-to-toe, like FS Panda Firelord Berserkers, but something like Undead, for example, which can only do hit and run with Expo and try to get tier 3 without losing, doesn't get much help from this change, as most games end at Undead completely destroying the human main, or human breaking the Expo without many losses in this main, way before the first fight ever happens, meaning way before the nerf even has the opportunity to matter. It generally makes the Pally get 1.5 less Holy Lights in a big extended fight, which is pretty impactful, but again, only 4 races and strats that can actually contest the Pally Rifles in fights. Interesting food for thought. I would say it will also help Undead craft some strategies like this that he mentioned above with Fastia, Panda, Firelord, Berserkers. Because they can maybe gamble a bit more on a hero that can use mana. Similar to a Panda fits a role there as well, who needs mana even against the Blood Mage. And that helps the survivability for sure, as if the Pally Rifle player runs out of mana, the siege is breakable. But yeah, I haven't seen, like, I would agree with the direction this comment goes into. This right here is one of the good answers. People think Happy solved Pally Rifle, but it's wrong. If you pay attention to how Happy wins the games versus Pally Rifle, then you realize he doesn't actually beat Pally Rifle in fights. He simply runs away from it and kills the economy while building towers at home, and repeats this so many times that at one point he has enough economy to win the engagement, even if he needs 2 times the army. I would say this is generally true. And then look at the games he loses, for example, versus Fortitude. When human doesn't let their economy get destroyed and pushes Undead, there's nothing the Undead can do. Because their expansion is not paid off yet. And you cannot beat the Peli Rifle push in a straight up engagement with even army count. That is also true, especially when the human starts using Flame Strike. There should never be a strategy that is impossible to beat in a normal engagement if played correctly. This is currently the case with Peli Rifle. This also isn't about timing. Peli Rifle doesn't rely on a timing push. I get where he's coming from. I would say Peli Rifle thrives a lot when pushing, though. They can build up more and more rifles and simply outlast ghouls, fiends, or anything you throw at them if executed correctly, because, like you said, nothing ever dies. Yeah, that's the question, right? If stuff starts to die now because of the changes. If you can't feed the paladin too much mana anymore. Still very oppressive and strong at their power spike, and Siphon is still a big issue if you don't deal with it. Still broken versus UD, still very strong with Orc, probably unplayable now with Elf. I guess it kind of was before. If you couldn't beat Peli Rifle before the Blood Mage buff nerfs, you definitely won't be able to beat Peli Rifle now. Anyway, they already addressed the main problem with Peli Rifle, which is Pela's Holy Light and Devotion, which has essentially been reverted to 2023. If you can't win Peli Rifle now, there might be other issues with your composition. This is probably true. Like, if you have the wrong approach to the strategy that is Peli Rifle, you're still gonna lose. I agree. Save Orcas. Whoa, with the downvote. I got a feeling that someone is brigading Save Orcas. I feel the Siphon mana change in cost from 10 to 25 was unnecessary and killed the strategy. When Blood Mage siphons mana to Paladin in skirmishes, he often runs out of mana. Before the nerf, Blood Mage has to wait for the cooldown of the siphon plus a few more seconds to get 10 mana, and then he was again relevant in the fight. Now when the hero runs out of mana, the hero doesn't pose a threat in fights. But IMO, the Siphon mana cooldown nerf from 6 to 8, and an additional initially intended Holy Light nerf from 5.5 to 6 would be more than enough. So this is just my gut feeling. But let's say you fight your ass off. It's a super close game, the tug of wars that we see, right? And then you finally kill the Blood Mage after you throw everything at him. And then the human just gets him back from the tavern, waits 2 seconds, and then can siphon again. That always felt super stupid. Now if he has to wait a little bit more, go for it. And you know, if you have to use a clarity to get the engine back running, it's also not the worst thing in the world. I gotta say I disagree a little bit. Like, why should the Blood Mage, according to Save Orcas here in this post, always be able to siphon? I don't think that's maybe that's also not what he meant. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. I feel like him explaining it this way, it's more of a reason why it's not 10 mana anymore, instead of putting it back to 10 mana. Kevin also says, I don't understand Orcas. Yeah, me neither. Mana siphon cost increase kills Peli Rifle versus Elf completely. Not every strat has to be playable versus every other strat. Or every other race. Like, I'd love to play Tet Fiend versus Orc. It's not great. I love to play Tet Fiends versus Night Elf. It's not great. Doesn't mean that one has to change Tet Fiends in the way that you have to play it. Or have to be able to play it. Okay, 2 more posts. They need to reduce the amount of mana drained and given to other heroes, because even just 2 ticks of mana drain on level 2 means a mana swing of 50 on the enemy hero and 50 on your own hero. Well, that's the same value as mana burn then. Now subtract 25 mana cost. And 75, then it's weaker than a mana burn. Now subtract 25 mana cost, the swing of 75, make that 3 ticks and it's 75. Oh, okay, that's just 1 tick, okay. Make it 3 ticks and it's minus 75 and plus 75, that's the mana swing of 125 for level 2 ability. So it's better than mana burn, if it goes through, of course, that is. Thanks to slow bash clap, you can ensure longer ticks. I think it's rather rare to see this in a pally rifle composition, even though we see it a bit more often. Now look at level 3 mana burn. It costs 50 mana and drains 150. Oh yeah, a mana swing of only 100. So the DH is worse at draining mana with a level 3 spell. Well, that's assuming Siphon Mana goes through. And that's the big benefit of mana burn, that it's instant and it's not channeling. So that's why Siphon Mana net values should always be higher than mana burn. They need to revert some of these nerfs to the Strat. Bronze Grass League's players who lose to everything cried and cried until the Strat finally got destroyed. Yeah, Bronze and Grass League players like Lin. I mean, deserved downvote. Deserved downvote. Man, we got 2 more games of Francis versus Biko. That was 5 minutes. That was 6 minutes. Damn. Oh, fast games. I want to see Iben Cool versus Diesel. 2 absolute legends. So cool that Diesel is back, man. He's back for a long time. And he was essential to Team Bulgaria. Back in the day. Yo, Toxie, you don't have to read this, dude. Step 2 meters away, look at the wall for 5 minutes. It's not that bad, dude. Oh, God. You a bit angry today, huh? I opened the thread. I read the post. I agreed or disagreed. And we move on. Ay. Strong personal opinions, I guess. Anyway, Diesel and Iben Cool. I haven't seen many Diesel games, to be honest, since his comeback. But I've seen quite some Iben Cool games. And if I'm not seeing at least 1 lumber mill in the Night Elf base, I'm gonna leave this game disappointed. we got an Archmage opening, as so often from Mr. Cool. And a Demon Hunter opening, as so often from the Night Elves. Mr. Cool, usually not a guy to expand that much. Super nice to see him so active though. Also a coach at GNL.
A player's forces are under
So
attack.
show them people how it's done. I would anticipate, knowing Iben Cool for a little bit, to go for like a tower supported push. But I haven't seen games of his for a while, and he is moving straight to the expo, so I'm completely wrong.
A player's forces are under attack.
Ooh, we get Huntress against this. Ooh, interested. I am very much interested in this game now. The Detonate gets both of the Water Elemental. Ouch. XP so far to Iben Cool. He needs the big one though. That's a lot of immolation damage done. Ay, 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 ay. Hole on the note. And another Detonate for more XP. Oh, that was so sick. Huge attack by Diesel.
Are under attack.
It is very fitting that a burning Demon Hunter is named Diesel. Oh wait, wasn't it that Diesel can't burn? Did I hear that somewhere? Did you educate me on this? Or it can't explode? Shit, I forgot. Old man without a driver's license needs help with that. It can, but it needs to be at a certain temp already. Diesel is hard to start burning. But, I mean, it's a Demon Hunter, right? If someone can make it burn, it's probably a Demon Hunter with the name Firebrand. So it is fitting. Once it started, it burns as hell. Aha! So that's what you pay the mana cost for.
A player's forces are under
I
attack.
see. See, we learned something today. While it has a higher flashpoint and ignition temperature than gasoline, it's still a flammable liquid that will ignite and burn when exposed to a heat source. So it's just harder. Gotcha! Yeah, mana... The mana cost justify this. Heman Dunter, what a fitting time to go for the Prime. Well, it's a tier 1 sub. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Thank you, ChatGPT. Lol. I had an argument with ChatGPT this morning. I'm very confused, guys. ChatGPT suggests one thing while a living human being suggests another thing. And I have no idea who to believe. That's a rough position to be in. The topic is... if you stream on YouTube, should that be on a different channel than your main channel, like Grubby does, for example? Or should you be streaming on your main channel? If someone's a YouTube expert, please raise your hands. I need your help.
Player's forces are under attack. A town is under siege.
Mr. Cool is still trying to establish this base. Unfortunately for him, arcane towers don't do that much versus Huntress, but since we don't have the upgrade yet, water elementals are there as basically liquid towers. What's the argument for a different channel? The argument is that live stream VODs are still getting recommended to your viewers, which then tune in and watch only a short amount of time, if at all. So the retention rate is lower and the click-through rate is lower than it is for your videos. But then they still get a lot of clicks and they still generate very solid revenue. And I heard from a living person that YouTube is kind of separating livestream VODs and videos anyway in the algorithm. But I don't know if that's true. So if there's a YouTube expert who operates on more than hearsay, let me know. I need help.
Town is under players' forces are under attack.
Anyone else hates the YouTube homepage with the super big images? Bro, do you know what I hate? When YouTube is translating video titles. That's a freaking joke. When did that start? That has to stop. Like, if somebody knows how to disable that... I tried to disable that for weeks and I can't. Yeah, fuck that. That's the worst setting. I mean, it's kind of cool if I see, let's say, a Soin video and I know what it's about, because Soin's translations are usually pretty good. So there, when it comes to like Korean to English, it helps. But if I'm watching some German videos, I don't want that translated to English. It started with Pornhub? Really? That's funny. Yeah, but that sucks. And then I click on the video because I think, oh nice, it has an English title, it must be English. Dude babbles in French. Horrible. Horrible. What has society become? There's not much of a society left here at that expansion, by the way. Surely that guy who watches obscure French TV archives can't speak French. Like, what the fuck, bro? How dumb is that code? All so true. Yeah. Also, the guy who said Germany as his location isn't able to understand German. Well, Iben Cool probably doesn't understand what went wrong in this game. Super low supply on both sides. Is this Arcane Tower actually getting the kill? No way. Oh, Night Elf Micro. Oops. Mr. Cool, can you hold? The army is 2 Dryads. Mr. Cool is taken after 10 minutes. You really want me to do a match preview in German? Let's go. Quite hyped for your match versus Tasteless on Tuesday. No, wait. No, he stands right next to a burning demon hunter, surrounds the panda. Oh, he's losing so much. What a freaking game, guys. I would say justified slobber knocker.
Players' forces are under attack.
I was hyped too until hotfix. Oh man. Oh, sad. Well, maybe Tedsta is the same amount of more hype that you're less hyped now. And then it's all in the balance. It's all about balance. Kill Dryad, please. No way, he's losing every footman. Dude, no, cool. Benny. It is an entertaining game. Full of action and questionable choices. I knew clicking on an Iben Cool game would be a good idea. There's Master Bears now, by the way, while Iben Cool is just arriving on tier 2. You know, I'm not all-knowing when it comes to Warcraft 3, and I had some questionable calls in the past couple of weeks, but that's not too great of a setup. But there's also no mana. Archmage, hold the door. We see rejuve everywhere. I heard you don't know about Shade Shadows. Samyana, you're everything that's wrong with this society. I answered 2 questions correctly, perfectly, in no time, like a boss, and 1 question incorrectly. But instead of focusing on the positive 66.66666%, you focus on the negative 33.33333%. Be better. Focus on the positives. And make the world a better place. One step at a time. No, you get better and get 100%. This perfectionism, dude. I am cosplay. I'm doing my best every single day to cosplay this imperfect human being to be closer to you in Twitch chat. Otherwise, I could come across as like arrogant and know better. But I'm one of you peasants. GG, fun game. GG. Diesel, well done. That was a fun game. As always, man, if you guys have time on your hands and want to watch a Warcraft game and you see the name Iben Cool, watch it. Cinema. Cinema every time. He's a fun player. Ooh, Francis versus X-Lord. Shalaba, thank you for the 13. X-Lord's... Yo, Hiob 51, let's go. Orc sucks.
Orc sucks Kappa.
Okay. Let's see if Francis's Orc sucks. He's playing against Ixie's Night Elf. Yep. Okay. Let's see how good Ixie's Night Elf is. Haven't seen him play since his comeback. Did you see Grubby vs. Jens last night? Nope. I usually don't watch first-person streams. Not my personal cup of tea. I could probably learn a thing or two. But yeah, not the content I enjoy. Joe blocks 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Go B2W.
Go Joe is my response to that. Thank you. So Francis was pretty good against Kevin in Dach Inferno in this matchup. Your subs are super cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Knut Pro, also with the Prime. Are we getting a hype train here or what? Now that the sub numbers dove below 1750. Bring it back. Push it up. We got a nice weekend ahead of us. Tomorrow, B-Cup qualifier, by the way. B-Cup qualifier looked quite nice. There's also no. Dolphin Cocoon into Butterfly Cup. But that's 9 AM. I think I'm not casting that. But, you know, maybe if I'm up early. I will be streaming late tonight, though. But maybe if I'm up early, I'm gonna do it. Depends.
The town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
So, Exi with the Keeper. That is an incredibly annoying hero. I see that fit. What's the name of the new game that I'm playing tonight? Sirocco. I think... Wait, do I have that enabled? Exclamation mark Sirocco. We're gonna play Sirocco tonight. This is gonna be so much fun. Battleships. Do you have that enabled? Yes. Play the boat game with us. Later tonight. First it's Witty's turn. Then I play. And I'm having the devs on tonight as well. It releases tonight at like late afternoon or early evening.
A town is under siege.
Francis, is he the one of like he's one of the very, very, very few people who plays Keeper versus Night Elf? Keeper. Fastia versus Night Elf. Usually it's always a blade. Exi very conservative with his mana. But yeah, that's an invite, of course. He has a second YouTube channel now. What's that about? We know that we like so in January our YouTube hit a low when it comes to clicks, revenue, everything. Because we were uploading a lot, we basically treated that YouTube channel as an archive where every game of every group stage of every tournament in every language of every game mode got pushed. And YouTube channels usually are kind of designed nowadays to have one upload a day at max. So we crippled our growth and exposure by uploading so much. So we made that change to
Let's go.
Leo TTV Criticism, thank you! 4 months, awesome. Keep up the grind, mate.
Players' forces are under attack.
So we decided to upload a lot less. And since we upload a lot less, the clicks are through the roof. Which is a bit sad though, because we got so many awesome games. And also we got a lot to talk about. For example, what do you publish when there's a PTR update, but also a grand final? You have to make a choice. With the second channel, we can upload a lot more while not hurting our main channel. and you guys get more content on YouTube. And ideally, at some point, if you guys keep subscribing to Back to Warcraft more, we got another source of revenue on YouTube, which will be a lot smaller than the one we usually have. But it's extra, so should be nice. You guys get people helping you to max profit for that? No, but FK, if you're in the field and can help us with that, I got many questions. I got many questions. For example, what's this alchemist doing here? Keck! Peak gameplay. Absolutely no idea, was just curious. It is a lot of guessing. What's the second channel? Back to Warcraft more.
The player's forces are under attack.
You know, for someone who's that elitist in Twitch chats, that was a free alchemist kill. Hab Mabo da gelassen. Danke, Opsi. Steph. And the second cancel is basically guaranteed. Or is it though? Is it though? Oh, the attack speed buff not enough. Boink. So yeah, that's the story about the second channel. So, Expo up now.
A player's forces are under attack.
Why not go back 3 Warcraft or back 4 Warcraft? I think simplicity is key.
A town is under siege.
And if we don't have Warcraft in the title, then people don't realize it's a Warcraft channel. And so I just thought, this is what the channel is. It's the same, but more.
Forces are under attack.
But if I type more back to Warcraft, then I don't think it's that search engine optimized, because people will be looking for back to Warcraft. This is my problem when I look for tags like Grubby for a long time was follow Grubby, right? But if you type in @Grubby, it doesn't show up. Oh, or at least back in the day it didn't. Now it might.
A player's forces are under attack.
I was looking for Terra's YouTube channel, which is Go Terra. Didn't find it. I had to go to Twitter and click on a link.
A town is under siege.
Nice Zeppelin drop, but is it nice enough? This is potential for disaster. So, in our Discord, there's currently a war between Armin VB, who's an orc player, who hates the upgraded Huntress, and a bunch of Night Elves who disagree with with Armin's opinion. So maybe this is an example of a game where Huntress are overwhelming and it's just over. Okay. That was odd. That was odd. Didn't give us the joy of a long worn out game. Sedge. Maybe Francis has to leave. Oh no, they play again. Well, then I guess we're gonna watch again. Maybe disconnect? Let's see. Nope. Just a regular leave. Infi out, I wonder if you can be a positive chat member once in your life. Or if all you can do is complain and be elitist. We see Blade Master Gaming, boys! Blade Master Mirror Image Headhunter, let's go! And for the Lord, it's Keeper again. Let's see if you can still do this. And do it again, even if it's against Blade Master. Will be a lot less hero control, as you can dash out of Entangle with Mirror Image, rather easy.
Player's forces are under attack.
Posse vibes here? Never. We had a lot of posse vibes before this patch cycle began. That was one of the best chat experiences this decade. And then the PTR came. And everyone turned into a bitch. Oh! Ancient of War alive. Nice. It's fine. The Ancient of War is fine. Plot twist. Everyone was already. Don't project from you to others, disengage. How's the new job, by the way? Did you have a good start? Pretty dope. That, from you, that's like the highest praise anything can get. Nice, man. You deserve it, bro. So we got a little bit of creep craft here, which probably goes in favor of Francis, but this is also level 2 unlocked, which is a bit of a momentum shift. As he goes into a different gear from creep craft to harass craft. Entangle on peons, trees in the orc base. Try to be disruptive, try to lower the golden lumber. And Francis, deny? Oh man, that was a nice damage range here, pretty much perfectly. Neo, do you want to cast the diff too much with me and Flucci? If you play on Wednesday, that'd be insane, yes. But I heard Flucci has the tendency of playing like parts of his maps in a series and then quit. So it has to be the entire series. And not just 1 or 2 maps. What time? From... Ideally, I get 2 or 3 games Wednesday evening. So from 7:30 to 9:30 would be fine. Nice. Yeah, that'd be fun. Little pre-match interview, a little shit talk. Very good, Sharky. Very good. And I gotta say, this keeper play suits X-Lord nicely. Yes, please. Okay, we can do it. We can do it.
The player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, that's quite some peons down here, I gotta say. This worked way too well. Got a walled off base too. I like that, I think. Playing like it's 2020 and things never changed. Has arrived on tier 2. No upgrade yet, but he lacks some gold after that expo. Blade Master still needs levels, man. His creeping was so disrupted. Oh no, oh no! Francis seems like he has a bit of an off day today. If that happens on Tuesday, Teko can still make playoffs in Dach Inferno. Did you get my Discord message? Oh fuck yeah, I wanted to reply and I forgot. I'll make an effort to answer later. Very cool you have the Championnat de France. Problem with such a wall up at the bottom spot, staff doesn't work and you need to destroy some trees. Oh no, you have to use a spell that you can instantly replenish with the moon wells that give your mana back? Ay, 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 that's rough. I think this creep jack is way more of a problem. God damn. Yeah, I think first Night Elf probably Franz's weakest matchup. If you staff Huntresses. I see. Oh, I guess he could eat some trees. Going walkers is probably the answer to Huntress, right? Oh, focus. We have a TP and a staff, so we should be fine here. Damn, quick mirror image against the Entangle. Holy smokes. And now he can't reach anymore thanks to blocks. Well done. I mean, it's still a bit of work. You know, other races have to micro their units out and don't have that free save with the staff. I think it's fine if you have to do a little bit of work in exchange. Oh, it's so hard to save my units with one click. Life as a night elf is so rough. I'm sorry, it was such an invite, man. It was such an invite. Okay, second try. Okay, we got it close. slowly but steady, we're getting to dangerous territory.
A player's forces are under attack.
New Night Elf hater. How many streams of mine have you listened to in the past 6 months? I was a big Night Elf fan, then I got disappointed many times. Then certain elements of the Night Elf community started to be very bitchy and whiny. Then at some point it got personal. So friendship with Night Elf is over. With the exception of a couple of players. I wasn't the one making it personal.
Player's forces are under attack.
That is a fight without the Blade Master, which is once again not too great. I gotta say, this looks very obnoxious, but it was also a very unstable early game. We do have tier 3 now. Still no Berserker upgrade. This looks a lot better than the game before, but it's also an expansion running now.
A player's forces are under attack.
Fuchi is in. Hell yeah! He knows that he has to play the entire series. Last time he had to play an entire series, he said he's too tired to play a full series. So just making sure. Oh my god, that creep jack is nasty. This is disgusting. Blade Master needs to crit 1,000,000 times. I might have to tell him that. Oh man. Francis getting trashed here today, unfortunately. And I think Exy has a lot of fun playing this Huntress strat. Simple yet effective, like a lot of our minds. You do consider me positive enough in chat? I have no negative feelings towards you. One has to do a lot to get a call out for negativity. Yeah, what are we doing now, Francis? He held. But it's still like only one peon. AP is growing. X-Lord is healing for free.
A town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
Not even like usually a tower would do a lot here. But now that's not even the case. Yo, Gaia Fürst, thank you for the raid, mate. We're watching some W3Champions Warcraft III ladder games. We have a torrent, but we might not have a Shadowhunter item. Nicely transferred from Blade Master to Shadowhunter, that big healing. But it's not enough damage. All that damage onto one hunt, and the surround is still blocked, and he's still surrounded, and he's still entangled. And this time there's no way out, unfortunately. Both players are losing a lot, but X-Lord casually floating 1,800 gold. Tommy, thank you for the prime. So this AP is annoying now.
Town is under siege.
Keeper, Purge. There's some time to clean this up. Unfortunate for Francis that there's a swift Chimera transition coming now. Lumber issues. Random bad gamer. 6 months.
Salap Aurora 1.
Sola Ferrara. Yeah, okay. Thank you, mate. Tja, we need some anti here. I mean, the Blade Master is a beast. Shadowhunter can hex. So you need a couple of... chimeras to make him work. We have a Shredder against that problem though. So does Francis know? With Mirror Image, he should always be scouting. There's really no excuse not to.
Under attack.
3 Huntress. All it takes is 2 crits. Nice interception. But the problem is here and here. Causing 2 fires while getting intercepted. That was well done. But we are getting some kills, to be honest. Level 5 blade, maybe? Hex. Oh, he snipes the Shredder. No! Shredder should get extra damage with Treants IMO. We have no cement upgrade. That will be another invite for Chimeras. We get the first 2. They're almost done.
A player's forces are under attack.
So no Berserker upgrade. No Berserker upgrade hurts. And I was just praising the Shredder and then the Shredder was gone. Feels like he has an idea because he's going for Beastery. Anything that really would help.
The town is under siege.
Oh god, he plays such an obnoxious style. Effective one though. He did see the Chimeras now. And he has to work on a solution. Summons everywhere. Treants on one side, illusions on the other. Keeper almost out of mana. This might be the last bit of attack, but an impactful one. Yeah, that was a bit obvious, right? Chimera's coming onto burrows.
The town is under
Yep, rip burrows! Chimera's good damage. So he's going for the burrows while Corrosive Breath isn't up. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Chimeras get a big experience though, so if he can kill 1 or 2... Oh, there's 2 staffs. There's 2 staffs for exactly 2 Chimeras, right? Oh, did use a staff. Shadowhunter with the potion on cooldown. Another staff used, once again not on the Chimera. On the Alk, that is. Oh my. Crit? No, staff. Francis? Oh, there's 2 more Chimeras. Jesus Christ. Corrosive Breath actually hurting the damage big time. Repair. But yeah, Francis unfortunately supply blocked while having no lumber It's nasty. A very sadistic way of playing the elf. Blade Master level 5, by the way. Crits coming. Bad for scouting. 5 chimeras. He can just click on that Great Hall and be done with. I'm not really sure what the Walker upgrade is doing now. Uh-oh. 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 He needed that. Okay, we two-shot burrows again. There's only one bat, right? Oh, yeah. One bat might not be enough. Hero's gotta carry. The damage is just nuts. Against walkers, against Tauren, mental. On the other side, we get another Chimera attack. Checkmate, bro. Checkmate. There needs to be some absurd lucky hero kills for Francis to make a comeback, unfortunately. 0 lumber. He did clean up the Chimera's left-hand side, though. And good saves. Francis is trying his hardest. Keeps the bat for now. Always purges that orb of lightning, man. Proc, 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 proc. And when they're low, they get the staff. And the chimeras are back. This time corrosive breath actually does something. There's no way you can follow that up. Damn. Fine gameplay. Fine sadistic evil dissection of an orc. Yeah, at some point there was no way Francis was able to do anything about it, I think. But well played, well played, well played. GG indeed. When he went for Tiny and got creep checked by Exlord 50 pop while having less than 40 was kind of over. Yeah, Exlord had a field day with this. Exlord playing Night Elf. Exlord is playing a lot of different stuff these days. Ranking, Xe. What's he playing? Thankfully, we can all observe that together on the W3Champions homepage. He played 100 games of Human, 12 games as Orc, 80 games as Night Elf, and 115 games as Undead. And a lot of random, too. Yeah, he can play quite a bit. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Can we watch an Undead game? As if there are Undeads on the ladder. What do you think it is? 2022? Actually, Biko and Instalight is... Wait, there's one Korean or one Korean Undead that's playing right now. Who is that? Oh, that's the... No, wait. That's not the Angry Night Elf. Is it Lucy? I don't know, man. Matches. Now playing. MR. Oh, yeah, that game on Last Refuge. No, that's not. Wait. Oh, it. Nah. Eh? Oh, that's the one. I copied the wrong. Yeah, that's Lucy. Yeah, that's Lucy. That is Lucy. Who's Go to Sleep again? That's aka Tea Time. Doesn't tell me much either, to be honest. Did metas change since the last patch? To be honest, not that much. Not that much. I am curious to see Verdi versus Francis. Verdi, quite a grinder in the upper echelons on the scene now. Kafka on the shore, as always, for the 31st time. I congratulate you on this wonderful nickname, and I congratulate you on your Prime membership here on this channel. It is lovely support you're giving me today. That shirt is very cool. This one. Dach Inferno, everybody. Go grab the Dach Inferno merch while it's available. Exclamation mark Inferno merch. We also got hoodies and mugs. And a second design. Hope you're having a nice Friday. I'm casting Warcraft with a lot of subs. That's already good. Then I'm gonna be playing Sirocco later, which is a standalone version of the Warcraft mod battleships, and I am very excited about that one. I might have a collab with Witty for the first time in our lives. After reacting to each other for many years. We might have a Neo X Witty collab. We might. So we got Fossier Gaming versus Tavern Hero. Verdi is quite funny because he's playing a very different style than anyone else. Do you know if it will cost money? I'm pretty sure it's free to play. Yeah, we'll be playing it for a couple of days. So if you want to play with me, go download it later.
A player's forces are under attack.
Dark Ranger first versus Orc. With Life Drain! Let's go! first time I see the bug fixed life drain. In case you're not aware, the Dark Ranger was... the life drain was adjusted this Tuesday.
The town is under
She can now pass life from herself to a target with the new life drain ability. There was a little bit of an issue though, that if you healed another unit, especially hero, if you healed another hero, it applied the spell resistance, the 30% spell resistance. So you actually healed less than you were supposed to. So that's fixed. Hey Toonie, what's up? Happy weekend. I hope you have a long weekend, an exciting weekend, or a chill weekend. Whatever you're craving for right now. Or maybe a mix. Happy long weekend.
the town is under
Most importantly, happy week. Wait, is Monday holiday too? No, right? Is it?
Players' forces
Oh,
are
please,
under attack.
please say no. Monday is just a regular Monday, right? No? No, it's not? What do you mean? Like no holiday or Monday work? Okay. Whew. I surely got food till Monday, and I didn't really plan to get groceries this weekend as we're gaming a lot. Lucky.
A player's forces
I
are
had a
under
bridge day
attack.
today. I see. That's perfect. That's how it should be. Dark Ranger Footman Rifle. That's wild.
Players' forces are under attack.
But I like it. I'm not against it. What's for food? This weekend, I got asparagus. The first asparagus of the year.
Players' forces are under attack.
So I'm gonna do asparagus with schnitzel. I also have stuff for a fish burger. Some Szechuan Asian stuff. And some Mongolian chicken. That's my food for the upcoming days.
Players' forces are under attack.
How did the Dark Ranger get level 4 already? What the hell? I talk about food while being like semi-hungry and the Dark Ranger is accelerating like crazy. Nice variety, a bit surprised. Guess what? There's like vegetables, different colors, different origins, you know? Some things a bit spicy, some things a bit fishy,
A player's forces
some things a bit fast foody, like that fish burger. solid. So, how does this army fare now? That Berserker, not too great. You still have Life Drain that can be used as a nuke, maybe against that TC, but against the Wand of the Wind, meh. How do you do asparagus? I boil it. Is there another way to do it? I don't know. I've boiled it all my life. Is that wrong? Mr. Francis, hello, hello, hello. We are basically watching all your games this afternoon. This is basically a Francis stream. We take over. But that probably means that we don't get your content anymore. Shit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ooh, that stomp is nasty. Ay, 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 ay. Feels like Francis is getting some revenge after these XE games. Many, many, many kills and the dark minions. Not doing the job too well. Roasting the green ones. Yeah. The green ones for sure. I'm getting white asparagus. Greens are best roasted on a barbecue, I think. Grill it up, yeah. If you boil it, put a pinch of salt and sugar in the water. Oh! Come on, get him. There we go. This is like Francis just stomping on this Dark Ranger build. Jesus Christ. No mercy. All that built up anger in the games versus XE unleashed on poor Verdi. Oh, maybe I have to clarify. I'm talking white asparagus, not green asparagus. Anger versus Elf, not XD. I see. Yeah, that was gnarly. That was gnarly. Awesome counter versus Life Drain. Come on. Can you save her? Save her! Oh, no saving her. GG. I'm also talking white asparagus. Toonie, I will, of course, obey. Because you mentioned something that I've never heard of. And that is a Backschlauch. What the heck is a Backschlauch? It's basically a bag, a plastic bag. What? I've never heard about this in my life. Ah, why can I not enlarge the image? So you put your food in a bag of plastic. That's apparent. That's how you do it. That sounds like a great idea. You know, 90% of my cooking skills are coming from frozen pizza. When I learned something about doing frozen pizza, it's you take the plastic away. There's a reason. You remove the plastic. Trust me. Microplastic maxing. I don't believe you guys. Why would I put plastic in my oven? Is it? It can't be plastic. Like, it must be some other stuff. it's steaming, right? It's special plastic. Uh-huh. It's a special kind of plastic. You can get juicy chicken with crispy skin. Uh-huh. Chalky, how do you know about this? I kind of really want to do the asparagus today, so I don't think I'm getting out and get this Backschlauch. But that's interesting. Yeah, I never heard about that before. Okay, apparently, is there anybody who didn't know this? Got alufolie. No, I never use alufolie for anything. That is incredibly bad for the environment. So no aluminium foil for me. Okay, am I truly the only one who never heard about that? You're freaking degens. We're cultivated people. Meat is also incredibly bad. That's why I reduce it a lot. We're still in shock. Backschlauch will change your life. It could be quite. I don't hate the idea. Makes sense. Okay, nobody wants to admit they're on my side and haven't heard about this. No? Okay, it's okay to accept weaknesses, guys. You learn something every day. I get really hot for asparagus right now. We had this whole discussion this week that it's a very, very, very German thing to celebrate asparagus the way we do. To me, the start of asparagus time is holier than Christmas, holier than my birthday. Oh shit. I forgot the hollandaise. I might be able to do it myself, but I never did it myself. Hollandaise is one of these things. Yeah, you can make it yourself. But if you buy it, it's a lot easier and it's almost the same. White or green? White. Asparagus of the Heinz, for sure. Okay, that means I have to go to the grocery store. That means I might be able to look for the Backschlauch as well. Green, white, both nice. White is like limited edition though. And that makes it way more special. Green, you can get green asparagus all year. It's kind of boring. I know it's not boring. It's always good, but it's not that special. Making a Spargus stream. Nah, 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 nah. Ooh, Jens is playing. I like Jens. Jens vs Lucy. Let's go. Bei Römertopf. That's a Backschlauch, but less plastic. Weird that you're against aluminium foil, but plastic. Okay, you don't care about plastic. I would have researched reusable stuff. Who else loves the asparagus pea smell? I don't smell that, to be honest.
A player's forces are under attack.
I don't have that, I think. It's just missing. Maybe it's because I'm smoking for like half my life. Or I'm not that turned off by it and I just don't care. Black Prisma! Thank you for the 3 months. We had a discussion about this on chat this week. And some people said
A player's forces are under attack.
it's genetic. So either you're super sensitive towards it or you totally don't care. But I don't know if that's true. It came from Twitch chat though. Ooh, cool pull. It came from Twitch chat. So it's probably somewhat true. I don't know. Nice counter to this. Who is putting the Ancient of War here, by the way? Well, someone who wants to do something about this expo. What are we getting ourselves into? Four years weed free this month. Let's go, buddy. Think I'm close to 5, so I feel ya. I feel ya. Yo, what are the odds for this necropolis? Congrats? Nah, nothing to congrats about. It was insanely easy. I miss the smell though. And the chocolate cookies. It was good times. In general, the taste of wheat and chocolate together. Goated. Zach, you're basically me just 1 year later. GG. He's teching in the middle of the map.
A player's forces are under attack.
Oh, good old Lucy. Nice tip with the chocolate. So, nah, I'm not going any further since they're underage. I can't speak openly. Don't do it, Shaki. Don't do it. You lose the last few remaining brain cells way too quickly. So he's basically getting technology and defense in once, as this will be a Narrow Tower, basically. I've never seen this before. Can someone send this to Edo? It's like next stage evolution.
player's forces are under attack.
Could have been cool to add the player names of the season at the back of the shirt, like a festival season. You want to get on people's backs, huh? Yeah, not horrible. Not a bad idea. To be honest, I'm happy enough that this was finished before the season is over. So many good ideas.
A player's forces are under attack.
Such untimely execution. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. We got a narrow tower here now. And we're gonna expand here now. The hell is this?
Player's forces are under attack.
Fascinating. Feels like Jens is a bit befuddled. I like it. I like it.
A player's forces are under attack.
Festival shirt would only contain the offline of finals people? Nah, you get the entire lineup on the band shirt. Even the ones playing at like 10 a.m. The real goodies. The real headliners. Yeah, so we fortify this. Jens, what are you going to do about it? I haven't seen Jens games in a bit. Okay, apparently everybody saw Grubby vs. Jens. I didn't.
A player's forces are under attack.
Naga second, okay. This is not much that Lucy has, but he got the tower, so that should be fine. You can tell Neo he can lick my balls. Somehow I envisioned them to be way more hairy than his hair, than his head. But still as salty as his persona. So this is not enough to break this. The Dryads aren't doing anything here. Lucy is muscling up a nice defense in the middle, but Jens doing Jens things and is just expanding. And it feels like Jens has quite some catching up to do, but he's not exposed to the tier 3 yet, so it's still probably fine. As long as you have a Demon Hunter and a Rejuvenation, everything is still possible. No nukes here, right? Nah, I should just be able to walk out of it. It's probably Jens's warm-up game, eh?
A player's player's forces are under attack.
Haven't seen any games of his before. Is Jens living the full gamer life at the moment, by the way? He's gonna participate in a lot. He's close to qualifying for B Cup, I think. I cheer so hard for him if he makes it finally. He could. There's also Don't Force Me finals coming with apparently a qualifier. I'm really curious how they decide on the qualifiers. But yeah, Fort Knox. It's done. Freaking Lucy is genius.
A player's forces are under attack.
How much do heal scrolls cost? 250. It sounds like a meme answer. It's not. It's 250. You like my strat? My dude! It's like you build a fortress. Unconquerable. Let's go, let's go, let's go, madman. I've never seen this. I've never seen this. But let's see what Jens is able to do about it, eh? 2 base, 2 base. So what is Jens going to do about it? He got some nice levels. He needs 1 hunt with upgrade. Yeah, but it's so late though, Kevin. Takes a minute. Takes way too long. It's unplayable. Maybe start an argument with Francis about it, who was exposed to Xyz Huntress twice. I think it's the best time and the best place that you guys talk about that now in chat. Mana shield first. What the hell? Is that a misclick, Lucy? Yeah, okay. I thought it's maybe another genius idea that my brain is too small to understand. Solid focus fire, big supply lead. Still, Demon Hunter strong. We'll see, we'll see. Love that Moonwell, always. When there's a Moonwell in position at a fight at an expo, I appreciate that so much. But now the Demon Hunter's out of the fight. And these Night Elves are not looking too great. There's not much. There's just not much. Jens didn't have the time. Jens doesn't have an army. Jens has no resources whatsoever. Yeah, he got caught off guard by this middle tech into expo. Brilliant. And you can't win 2 base, 1 base. At all. All that's left is the Demon Hunter. Yeah, I clicked on that game later when I saw it after I finished Francis. Yeah, knockout. No more wisps. no more anything, really. Always cool to see the map played in new ways. Meow. It doesn't connect once you step. It just follows sometimes when it's already in the air, because the game has to connect the spell. Jens, as so often, doing a nice defense, but that was too much damage. Freaking Lucy, man. Okay, someone sent this to Edo Boy. Edo Boy must know about this. GG, Lucy, GG. Maybe this is catching on. Maybe all undeads should do that. No, it's veto. You can just play one hunt and maybe one glaive if you're funny. What about the new glaive upgrade, man? Nobody's playing glaive still. Under no circumstances, really. Still too bad. How hot is it at your place? I have a very cool home. Thankfully. Give it 2 more. Yeah. So Jens has to play Wudao on Sunday for B Cup. He's gonna wreck Wudao, no? Must be hot where you are. Look at you. LOL. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's B Cup. Inspired Remind, really cool game. Lucy Neutron, really cool game. I really want to cast that. TH Sonic as well. Yeah, tomorrow's qualifier gonna be great. PCG Soima also. Winner moves on in all 4. Yeah, we're gonna cast, I think, all games of that. I'm gonna make an effort. We got Western representation in every single match. Let's go. TH vs Sonic, guys, in 2025. Sunday is a bit less hype. Shao KK vs Death Note, though. Woohoo! But Sunday, there's this Coin Cola Cup out of nowhere with $3K. I mean, we're obviously not casting the first one, but Dice Pink, Jens Ice Orc, Neutron Xiaokai. There's some solid matches. I think we prefer this over this. Maybe we can flip-flop. TH is back? Yes, TH is back. See, this is one of the examples. That's really cool. Like, a lot of people pock out over it. But it would never justify a video on our main YouTube channel. But since we have back to Warcraft more now, this is a perfect example of like a piece of news that we could easily throw on the second channel. So check it out. Back to Warcraft more. Add Back to Warcraft more. Go follow Back to Warcraft more. Exclamation mark YouTube. Back to Warcraft more. We need way more subscribers on this. Spread the word. See, there's another game already. Boom. 2K views on the hotfix thing. That is nice. That's really nice. All my homies are following this channel, by the way. Just saying. Yeah, we just pushed it out a day ago when the hotfix went live, but we had so many awesome games to push to the main channel. That finally felt necessary. I'm a homie. Oh, of course, Buddha. Of course you are. Already 130 videos? Nah, just, I mean, we had this channel for a while, but then we stopped, and now... That was originally the channel for short highlight clips before there were YouTube shorts. So it's very old. You deserve my prime being that motivated? Hell yeah. Neo, think about the workload. That's good. That's the good thing for me. I don't have to do any of that. I cast as I usually cast. Out of Warcraft is doing all the YouTube stuff. Haha. So I don't have to do shit. And Out of Warcraft is doing a fine job with that. Alrighty, I will take a little bit of a break, I think. Or do we have another game? That's awesome. Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's it. Thanks for all you do. Back to Warcraft's awesome. Thank you, Lado. Seems like the ladder is... Oh, Biko versus Verdi. Okay, that's gonna be the last game of the day then, of the Warcraft day. I'll be back at 7, so this is why I keep this a little shorter. I'll be back at 7, then we do some Warcraft games, and then we play Sirocco at 9. So yeah, we do one more. We do one more. But before we do a 5 to 6 hour stream later, I want to catch a little bit of sun at least. Oh my god, Neo goes outside? You know how to get outside? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Did you see the Tasteless comments on Warcraft? Yes, we reacted to it at the beginning of the stream. That was a solid summary. Good content to react to. I like that. Sun can give you skin cancer. That's why I'm wearing a full onesie that covers everything whenever I go outside. You know, as the non-mainstream streamer of the year, you have to hide in public. I do it that way. Yeah, feels like Verdi is one of these players that will rise quite a bit in the upcoming. This is like the spring version of Hinagiku in the winter. Just a player that all of a sudden is really freaking good. But yeah, I knew this would be a shorter stream. But it's kind of weird to not do a stream in the afternoon, even though it was really chill. I think today was really good. Today was a really chill, good stream so far. 20 seconds. Tomorrow, a little bit of B Cup qualifiers. Sunday, a little bit of this Cola Cup. Plus the Rocco. Is B Cup starting Monday already? May 5th? Yes. Yeah, and then from Monday on, we got B Cup every day. This was a rather slow week, but it was also necessary. Wait, what's this short? The difficult part about streaming?
It is harder to be a good YouTuber than it is to be a good streamer. I have more respect for YouTubers than I have streamers, but maybe it's because I'm in the scene.
I have respect for Twitch streamers, man.
I think for streamers, a lot of their hustle is getting to the point where they're really successful. They can autopilot the top end. The difficult part about streaming, a lot of times, it's the stuff you do outside the stream. They're like keeping up with socials, making sure you're on top of all your other like bullshit. That's like the hard part. If you're streaming 8 hours a day and then going to do YouTube, TikTok, bunch of socials, that's when the difficult part is. I think the maintenance is a lot easier than YouTube.
It seems like you guys are like constantly on the grind. Even if you're not streaming, which you guys are streaming like a lot of hours, you guys are doing stuff outside the streams and everything like that. I can just take a break from uploads if I really want to, and it doesn't affect me too badly.
It is harder to...
Yeah, fair. I thought this would be some cringe comment like, oh, it's so hard. But yeah, pretty fair. Alrighty, let's see what Verdi is doing versus Undead. We've seen his Dark Ranger play versus Orc. That wasn't too successful versus Francis, but it was a crazy game earlier. And let's see what Biko is doing, who was extremely experimental recently, but has now become almost normal from what I've seen yesterday and the day before. Maybe he's just mixing it up a bit. Yes, we got a tavern built again. Is he just on a Dark Ranger day or something? It looks like he is. It's again a late altar. It's again no pally rifle because there's no blacksmith. That's what he's doing. That is exactly what he's doing. Lol, 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 lol. That's funny. And then does he have any new tricks up his sleeve or not? Okay, we're going back to DK. I like that, Biko. You're not a Crypt Lord player, Biko. You're that wild, always DK guy to me. Sometimes Lich even, but different matchup. Is my chat broken, by the way, or you guys just stop talking? That's crazy. Nobody interacting anymore. Ay. I screwed you all, scared you all away with that onesie idea. Okay, you just simply stopped talking. Wow. For 6... Yeah, you just decided to stop. Crazy. Chat was just simply dead. Wow. Congrats. Congrats. Panda, not Dark Ranger. Playing Fortnite. Alright. Had to move to the bedroom with the girlfriend to watch. Sorry that you have to like endure this. Everyone was just so engrossed in what you were talking. Okay, okay, Flynn. All right.
A player's forces are
Yeah, Panda versus Undead should be kind of working against Expos, but should be completely shut dead when there's destroyers. But at least it's a long way there. I feel like Verdi and Biko are basically the same player styles. Just be different. I don't mean it in a bad way. No. But I'm sorry that like she has to listen to my squeaky voice all the time.
town is under siege.
Even in the bedroom. Ay. Interesting to know that I'm in your bedroom, Zach. It's a panda first harass expansion. Crap without the panda, who's close to level 3. This man is a mad scientist. I'm the most German sounding person ever? What? I have to use headphones. Ice. Okay. I'm not the most German sounding person ever. I don't have an accent that bad. Unbelievable. I don't like her anymore.
Under attack.
Boo, Zach's girlfriend. Boo. Thank you, guys. I was about to get insecure, but you saved me.
Player's forces are under attack.
Biko's Gularas is quite nice, eh? A little bit of revenge for what the panda did to the poor Undead base. Another kill. Oh, Verdi. The offense was good. The defense got a little bit overwhelmed here by that level 3 DK. And still no Tekken either. Okay, we're done here now though. Expo up, graveyard coming. Tech should be shortly on the way. How many calls we got? 1. Alright. Panda save. Don't want Masha to fall. I love these tiny plays by Biko. Very effective, very annoying. All that time, that's like, what is it? 60 gold? 80 gold? 100 gold by now? Just from the workers not working.
Player's forces are under attack.
They're also taking a bridge day. That's not how you say it in English, right? It's not like in Germany when there's a holiday on a Thursday. The Friday is then a bridge day because it's the day that bridges towards the weekend and you can take that off to have a long weekend. That's not how it's called, right? People would probably call it differently. Gap. A gap day. That sounds a lot more English, yes. Can you cast with Arnold Schwarzenegger voice? Pleshy, if I had a 2-0 against you yesterday, then maybe I would do you the favor. But since you ruffle stomped me in game 1, I can't. My Arnold Schwarzenegger impression somehow always mixes with a Werner Herzog impression. And then it gets really bad. I have to work on that a little bit. In front of the mirror at home. But while the initial defense wasn't that good, the follow-up was quite sweet. Outlevels him again. We got the tech running finally. Still, the tech is a bit of an issue. Double crypt already up as well. Mix the accent with a Walter Frosch voice, bro. Izzy, hello, hello. If I... This is getting too much. It's getting too much. Wait, are we doing double blacksmith? Yeah, let's go. Double upgrades, everybody. Oh, Verdi is so cool. Verdi is such an interesting player. I am falling in love with Verdi. Verdi versus Hinagiku when? We got a bunch of footmen. We got the tech almost up. And while the panda can't do much against destroyers, maybe he can just go gyros then? Like an overwhelming amount. You got the German comedy prize. Don't you have the German comedy prize for life, Izzy? By just existing? To be honest, you're funnier than most of the German comedians. Goddamn, somehow German comedians slide into my YouTube algorithm. And I'm not using the word cringe much, but I think that's like that's the only way I can express my disgust. Is this Verdi aka Rails? Yes, exactly.
Player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, that is the only way I can express it. I'm sorry. Biko, for his standards, all rather normal here. Except that he has backpack. Neo thinks I'm a joke. I think you're a clown. Dude, I don't like this Breath of Fire versus Fiends from the Undead perspective. Where's statues? They're coming, mate! Slaughterhouse is just finished. Cut him some slack. Give him some time. Break double sanctum breakers into one workshop. Verdi is just built different. Someone who has suffered from undead spells. A bit too much, maybe. And quick upgrades. Okay. Okay.
A player's forces
Archmage second. Now I've seen it all. I mean, how else would you get mana, I guess? Interesting to see that this is the choice. I like that Biko goes A-bombs. Oh, now we see a Griffin Aviary. Maybe I don't. For the... If he hits the timing well, A-bombs should be really good. It's the counter to breakers. They're sturdy. Sturdy units are always good against the panda. Because while the panda has a lot of damage, it's a lot of damage distributed to people in an area. Like that. Blizzard! Oh man. His biggest threat are still destroyers though, no? Like, basically the only threat.
Player's forces are under attack.
Double AoE. It is... Like, the amount of AoE that we have in the meta right now, I think has never been higher. We see it so often. Flame Strike versus Undead. Blizzard versus Night Elf. Now, 2 AoE spells. Fork Lightning is more important than ever. I think we live in AoE meta, everybody.
A player's forces are under attack.
And that's the dangerous put. We don't even have to destroy upgrades. It's so fascinating. And we don't have a heal scroll anymore. Boom! Good night, Archmage. Back to sleep you go.
A town is under siege.
We got Disease Cloud now. We don't have the Griffins out yet. Wasn't there a Griffin aviary? Did he build it at Expo? Oh yeah. Oh, he has no gold. Oh, poor Verdi is getting overrun by tier 3 Undead. And he missed up the surround, but he was so close to the Abomination that everything is affected now. Ripperoni! Yeah, there's no cure for that. Biko slays. I love Biko. What a fun player.
Player's forces are under attack.
Breath of Fire damage is very underwhelming. It depends a lot. Like, Fiends have a lot of HP. If this were Ghouls, or Gargs, or Casters, it would be amazing. Panda also has basically no damage cap. Breath of Fire is one of the best spells, but it Fiends, and of course, the statues are constantly healing against everything. Like against Undead, Breath of Fire is really not that good because the statues constantly heal everything. So yeah, I don't really know what he was thinking. Maybe he thought he can overwhelm faster. Now, it's probably over. But I like people that are experimental. Very much so. GG! Nico, well done. Surviving first, putting the pressure down. And then owning from there. Yeah, the graph tells it all, everybody. Alrighty. That was... I was thinking about an item that increases spell damage, but that would be way too hard to balance. Maybe even impossible. Yeah, it would either be very good or very bad. I'd rather like to see smaller items that reduce spell damage a little bit. Okay. I'll be back at round about 7 p.m. for the couple more ladder games. And also Sirocco. The Battleship standalone. I'll rate you to a new content creator that's very active on YouTube as well. That's TTB Criticism. You saw him earlier in chat. Very nice stream. Very lovely guy. Give him a follow if you enjoy what he's doing. So for me, a little bit of chill time. For you, come back at round about 7 p.m. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support. Subscribe to our second channel, Back to Warcraft More, on YouTube. And check out the Dach Inferno merch if you like our German League ! Inferno merch. Peace.